Hey guys, happy full moon. I hope you all had an awesome Christmas and awesome New Year. First show of the year, so it's nice to be in this new energy of 2023. Today I'm going to be talking a little bit about the full moon that we're in right now. I'm going to be talking a little bit about rituals on how you can cleanse and release some energy and work with this full moon. And then I'm also going to do a collective card pull like I always do at the end, bring through some messages for the collective. So I don't know about you all, but this year already I have been feeling really called to reflect on my past, and I've had a lot of things coming up from my childhood, and I've had a lot of things coming up from past experiences that I've been through, and I don't generally reflect and look back on these particular things that have been coming up. But I have been really sitting in reflection these last couple of days. And when I looked into the full moon being in Cancer, one of the things that kept coming up as I was reading about it is this is a time of reflection and looking back at how far you have come and analyzing and kind of like reassessing where you're at in life and how you got here and that kind of thing. So I thought it was really interesting that I was already doing that and I didn't even realize that's why I was doing it. So I have just been really sitting in that and looking back and really looking at ways in how I can be more in touch with my inner child, and also in ways that I can declutter and move forward and plan new things. So with this full moon in Cancer, Cancer is ruled by the moon. So Cancerians are already very sensitive and attuned beings. And Cancer is the crab, right? So at this time, you might feel like you want to withdraw a little bit. You might want to be going into your shell. You might find that you're just wanting personal space and wanting your own time, being that our full moon is now in Cancer. You might also feel really triggered at this time, and especially because we have Mercury in retrograde at the same time. Whenever Mercury is in retrograde, that will typically bring up a lot of miscommunication, a lot of, I say conflict, and it can also affect technology. So we always say maybe don't buy a new phone at this time, or don't buy any new cars or anything to do with electronics. Be very mindful, and also of signing contracts. Be very careful of doing it at this time. Sometimes these things are unavoidable. Sometimes we do have to go out and buy a new car, or sometimes we do have to, start a new job if we get a job offer or get a house, and you may need to sign contracts. If you do need to do that, it's just very wise to make sure you triple check everything. You're getting someone else to look over everything too before you go and make any big decisions. Now, because we have the full moon in Cancer, which is a very emotional sign, and we've got Mercury retrograde at the same time, you might have the tendency to feel extra triggered at this moment. So just be really careful how you respond to these triggers. And be really accountable of your emotions right now. Be very conscious of the things that are coming up for you, because you don't want to find yourself in a conflict with someone which could be easily avoided. But you may be feeling extra hot-headed and very sensitive right now. So just being really mindful of people making like smart-ass comments or remarks as well. That might be a bit of a theme at the moment. People might be taking a bit of a dig at you, or it feels that way, and again, you might be feeling like you want to withdraw from the world too. You might want to, hide and be really protective of your energy. So these are things that you could be going through. But also with this full moon in Cancer, it is calling you to reflect upon, where are you at in your life? Are you happy with your financial situation? Are you happy with how your relationship is going? Are you happy with the people in your life? full moons will typically bring this energy anyway, but being in Cancer, it is going to just be heightened. I feel like everything is always heightened when it's in the water signs. Being that it is a cardinal sign, though, it does give that strength to really move forward with these emotions and with things that are coming through. So, you're really going to be asking a lot of questions at this time, and you're going to be probably asking really deep questions at this time. Then on top of the full moon in Cancer and Mercury retrograde, we also are in a year numerology number 7, which is all about spirituality. And in the year number 7, you might find that, again, you're asking the big hitting questions. You might be really questioning everything in your life, your beliefs, your values may be challenged, your relationships. It's really going to be a year of like slowing down, going inward, reflection. I feel like I keep saying that word, but that is really probably a big word for me personally, but I feel like it will be a big word or theme for a lot of the collective too. And in my downloads, I have also been feeling like people are going to be really called to go inwards. It's going to be a big year of just going with the flow, slowing down, and really going inward. Learning, you may want to learn more about spirituality. You may just want to learn short courses or find more knowledge, really tap and tune into your third eye. You may just be feeling that energy as well. And I feel like it's going to start off slow, but then after about April, things will probably start to speed up a little bit, maybe even towards the end of the month for some people. But if you are feeling all of these things and feeling quite overwhelmed, then just know that you are not alone. It is definitely a collective energy, and this full moon is driving a lot of that. I do believe Mercury retrograde ends on the 12th of January, if I am right. Hopefully I've got my dates right there. So we're coming to the end of that. We've only got, 6 days left. And for me, usually I really am affected by the full moon a week before. So I always know a full moon is coming because I can't sleep properly, or my emotions are really heightened and I'm extra sensitive. My sun is a Cancerian sun, but you'll find if your moon is in Cancer or your rising is in Cancer, you will be equally as affected with the full moon in Cancer. But my son, he's only 6 months old, and he has just been so sensitive the last 2 days and crying so much and easily triggered and just so irritable. So even our babies and our children are affected by the full moon. He's been struggling to sleep as well. So it's just so interesting seeing it even play out in babies. The energy can really affect anybody, even animals as well. So all of these things to take into consideration, but coming into the new year, for me, I don't really feel like the new year starts until March 21st with the spring equinox. So if you're not feeling the boom or feeling motivated to write New Year's resolutions, or if you're not feeling like you want to write down your goals right now, know that this is normal and you're not alone. Some people, the new year doesn't start for them until March, until Aries season. So, be gentle and be kind with yourself. If you're just feeling slow and unmotivated and sluggish, I feel it will start to get better and you might be more aligned, especially if you are, spiritually attuned. You're going to be more aligned with March 21st than what you would be aligned with right now. So I want to talk about ways in which we can cleanse our energy and ways that you can, start really working with the full moon energies and little rituals to start creating space in your life. And these are things that have always really helped and, worked for me. So ritual that I'll be doing tomorrow, I'm going to be doing it tomorrow when I've got some time, or maybe tonight. I'm going to be sitting in meditation, and I'm going to be setting the intention of, asking my guides, asking my higher self to bring through what it is that I really need to be focusing on to release right now. And I already have things that I consciously want to let go of and release, but I'm going to really tune in to my energy and see what comes up in that meditation. So I'm going to be doing that. And then for the first time in like over a year, I actually have felt called to put all of my cards and all of my crystals out under the full moon. So tonight I'm going to put all of them out in my backyard. I'm going to take a table out there. I'm going to put all of them out and give them a really good cleanse. Now, some of you may not feel aligned with doing that, and that's okay. Some of you might not want to do it because we still have, we've got Mercury in retrograde. I believe Mars might still be in retrograde. But it's all about intention. And if you feel it's okay and you've got the green light to do it, then definitely do it. I've got the green light to do it, so I will be utilizing this energy. And to be honest with you, it is really the first full moon I have felt connected to and felt aligned to in a really long time. So I'm excited to pull my cards out, put my crystals out, give them a really good, much needed cleanse, and utilize this beautiful full moon energy. You might feel called to cleanse in other ways. So you might feel called to have a salt bath. Himalayan salts are great. You might feel called to go for a swim, even in the ocean, like something to do with water. I'm actually going to be doing that after this. I'm really excited to just like go and have a swim in the ocean. So there are other ways that you can cleanse too, really using that water. But one thing that keeps coming through is declutter. So Spirit are just bringing that through as I'm speaking now. So you may feel like you want to declutter the home. You may want to move things around in your home. Open up your windows, light some sage or Palo Santo, even some incense. Just open up the windows, open up the doors, and really let the energy out and bring this new energy in. So for me as well, I'm about to start the process of like getting rid of clothes that I don't need anymore and getting rid of items that are just taking up space that I don't need anymore, because everything holds energy. So you might have a piece of clothing you've been holding onto for 10 years, and you may have used or wore that piece of clothing at a really low vibrational time in your life, and it's sitting there just holding up this space, and it still has the energy attached to it. So, it's really important that every now and again we just like declutter and we get rid of objects and get rid of things that we are no longer needing, that are just taking up space. Because it could be adding to your discomfort. It could be adding to you feeling anxious. It could be adding to a low vibrational energy. So declutter is a really great thing too. And of course, then you could do the journaling. You could write down and journal all of the things that you would like to release, all of your intentions of what you want to let go of and what you no longer want to have holding space in your mind anymore. And some people might feel drawn to burn that under the full moon, obviously in a safe space. So I'll usually take my little cauldron outside. I'll burn the piece of paper and make sure that it's out in the cauldron. Okay, you might feel like you just want to rip it up and throw it away. You might want to fold it up and put it under your pillow. Everyone is different in how they release the energy. Some people might just leave it in their journal, and that's okay too. Again, it's all about doing what feels right for you and setting those intentions and following your own intuition. One of the things I always teach my clients in my mentoring too is what works for someone may not work for you. So it's all about just going within and trusting what your intuition is telling you to do. So if this aligns with you, great. And if it doesn't, that's okay too. But there's so many different ways in which you can release and declutter. You may even feel drawn to like getting a massage, moving some energy in the body, dancing, movement is very important too. Going for a walk. There are so many different ways in which you can release energy and meditate. It doesn't have to be the traditional ways of sitting down, journaling, sitting down, meditating, having a salt bath, giving yourself a tarot reading or an oracle card reading. It can be drawing, going for a walk, dancing, just taking some nice deep breaths, laying on the grass, hugging a tree. It could be anything that you feel aligned to. So just taking that time for you as well is really important, okay? Making sure that you are letting go of whatever needs to be let go of. And I have to say this because someone listening may need to hear this, but Spirit keeps saying, if anyone is bothering you, If you are finding that, you're finding it hard to disconnect from an ex-partner, or if you're finding it hard to disconnect yourself from toxic friends or family members or a workplace or someone in the workplace, you can write their name on a piece of paper, fold up the piece of paper, put it in like a plastic Ziploc bag, or you can even just fold it up and put it in the back of your freezer. This works great. I have done this so many times with people who were bothering me, upsetting me over the years. It's a really quick, simple technique. You pop them in the freezer and it just like freezes the energy between you and this person. And for me, it's worked, and I will like never hear a peep from these people again. And it even removes them from my mind. Like the thought of them is gone. It's great. It may not work for everybody. Again, everyone is different, but it might be worth trying because Spirit are bringing that through as I'm talking. So someone listening to this, it's going to help you, okay? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to my cards and I'm going to do, I'm going to pull some cards from this deck and do a collective reading. Take what resonates and leave what doesn't, because it may not land for all of you, but I feel really drawn to using this particular deck today. So I found this deck in Kmart. I don't think Kmart is in the US, it's in Australia, but if you feel drawn to this deck, you might be able to find it on Amazon. It's called Big Moments, 52 Affirmations for When You Need Them Most. And I'll just see if I can show it to you guys here. I am really drawn to this deck, which is surprising because it's so simple. It's very basic, but it's just great. I find that I'm really connecting to it. So I'm going to use this today. I'm just going to shuffle and pull 3 cards. And also just touching on what I was saying before too, about the cleansing and the decluttering and removing and getting rid of things. You may not feel like doing this right now, and you don't have to do these things on a full moon. You can do this anytime that you feel like it. But when we do it on a full moon, it's just really harnessing that extra potent energy. But I want you to know that you can do these rituals and you can do these things anytime you are feeling aligned, and it will still have the same effect. It may just not be as potent. All right. Interesting, the cards that I have here. I'm just going to pull one more, guys, and then I'm going to channel some messages. Oh, of course, it's fallen on the floor. I'm just going to grab it because it's a jumping card, so someone needs to hear this message. Oh, wow. Okay. Well, very interesting here. All right. So the first card that came out here, I actually got miscarriage. I don't know if you can see that, but it says, my body is doing what it is designed to do. I'm worthy of being a mother. So anyone out there that is struggling to conceive, anyone out there that may have recently had a miscarriage, anyone out there that is struggling with becoming a mother or falling pregnant, I just want you to know that this is going to happen for you. It's just going to take some time. I also want to say, or Spirit want to say, for those of you who have experienced a loss in the last 2 to 3 months, please give yourself the time to heal and be very, very gentle and patient with yourself. Some of you here are also needing to have like an energetic healing or a cleanse of some kind, which will create space for that baby to come through. And also, I feel some of you are going to turn to like your diet. Spirit are bringing in a real big message here of being mindful of like what you're putting into your body, the toxins that may be in your household, and looking at ways in which you can fall pregnant too. So specialists, fertility clinics, and all of those things. So if you're struggling, if it's been longer than 12 to 18 months of doing it yourself, might be time to go and get some advice. But anyone that has suffered a miscarriage or a loss of a child, this one is for you, and I want you to know that you are worthy, and I really feel like you will get your baby. All in divine timing, I keep hearing very strongly. The next card that we have here is Facing Fear. I have what it takes to conquer my fears. So I do feel like there are a lot of people really struggling with this at the moment, but also being that we're in the full moon energy, you may be feeling the triggers, right? This is for the people who are feeling those triggers. And some of you are going to be really pushed outside of your comfort zone. I also feel like some of you are waiting for a message. You might be like waiting to hear if you got a house, or you're like scared that you're going to lose your house, or you're scared that you're going to lose your job. Like there's something about being afraid of losing that security in your life. And Spirit are saying that you're going to be okay, but you just have to look at other avenues. So looking in places that you haven't looked before, asking people for advice that you haven't asked before, really like utilizing other resources here, okay? And it's interesting because I also feel like some of you, the fear facing, it's also just about like telling someone how you feel, or being afraid that they're not going to feel the same way. There's also that side of this too when I'm feeling into the fears. So wherever this fits for those of you who are struggling to face fears, I want you to know that you have the courage to conquer these fears. And a lot of you are going to have lots of breakthroughs over the next couple of weeks. Okay, so anything that's triggering you, anything that you're struggling to really navigate through, know that there are the tools there to help you conquer these fears. And I can see that you're going to break through them. Some of you are going to struggle more than others, but I keep hearing breakthrough. So there is a light at the end of the tunnel here. The next card was Wedding Day. So this is my moment. I know that everything will happen as it should. So I am seeing some of you getting married. I feel like some of you may even have gotten married over Christmas, New Year period. So this is just what's happened. And then some of you are about to get married this year. I also am seeing engagements with this. So if some of you have been with your partners for a long time and you are hoping that they are going to ask you to marry them, I am seeing engagements here. I'm seeing good news in love. Also fertility I'm seeing here. So it's like your relationship going to the next level when I tune into this card. I do also feel like there's some of you who have been in relationships for like 5 to 7 years or longer, and you're wondering, is it ever going to happen? It is going to happen. And I feel like there's going to be a big like boom in this for some reason. I'm just seeing so many people committing on a stronger level and strengthening of relationships when I tune into this card. So if some of you are having doubts, this is your reassurance and confirmation that it's possible, that it's going to happen. It is going to happen. And I feel like the more trust that you just have in the universe, the more trust that you just have that it will happen, then it will, right? Just like letting it flow rather than trying to push for it to happen. It's better to just allow it to happen. So there is some really good news, and I'm really glad that we ended off on this card. There was another one that did fly out, which I'm just going to touch on because I believe I have a little bit more time with you guys. We had buying a house. I am realistic, informed, and capable of navigating the home buying process. I'm onto it, which is really interesting because I had the Facing Fears card and I was feeling like people are worried about the house. So if any of you are waiting to hear back for the contracts or a lease, renting, buying, it's here. It is going to happen. Any of you who are waiting to hear about this, you're going to get the news. And anyone that maybe is saving for it, if this is like a dream that you have, set the intentions, manifest, write it on your list of goals of things you want to do, navigate how you can make it work, really be intentional and productive with it. So then you can really bring it into your existence, right? Like setting those goals is really important, and finding the people who can help you set those goals and stick to them. So we've got a very big mix of messages here today, but like I said, take what resonates and leave what doesn't, because there is a mix of messages here that are coming through. So that is it for the messages. I hope that, I don't know what happened then. It went blank on my screen. So yes, I hope that those messages all resonated with you all. Take what lands, leave what doesn't. Also, I'm just going to let you guys know too that I have also got my group on Facebook, and I have been recording a lot of episodes on my podcast, or getting into the groove of things. So that's one of my personal goals for this year, is to release regular episodes on my podcast. So if you're interested in hearing about spirituality more, you can always go over and have a listen there. I talk about so many different things, around personal development, spiritual development. I'm going to be bringing in some new energy to it this year too, where I'm going to be interviewing people. I've got some things there, and I just felt cool to share that with you guys. So for whoever needed to hear that, I feel like there was a reason for me to say that. But I'm going to leave it at that, guys, with that message. I really hope that you can find value in any of those messages, and I hope that they have helped you. But make sure that you're grounding through this full moon. Really use the energy that we have with this full moon tonight. Hopefully some of these rituals can help you as well if you implement them, and really take care of yourself in this energy. Thank you so much, guys. I'll see you next week.